Hello everybody, welcome back to DiamondTrail Ranch. We're going to be talking about goats, clouds rolling in, and just hurricane season preparedness for your homestead animals. Living with goats during the hurricane season can be nerve-wracking. I don't know if you guys have done it before. If you've ever sat through a storm worrying whether your fencing will hold or your goats will be safe from flying debris, flooding, stress, you're not alone, guys. Hurricanes can bring dangerous, crazy winds, heavy rain, unpredictable damage. Here's the good news, though. There's a clear, practical step line for you that you can take right now to make sure that your goats are safe as possible during and after a storm. In this video, I'm going to walk you through my complete hurricane prep checklist for goat owners. We've learned these steps here from years of living through storms right here in Florida, and they'll work for anybody in hurricane-prone areas. Stick with me until the very end. I got a free printable hurricane prep checklist you guys can download and keep it in your barn so you can never miss a step when the weather turns ugly. Speaking of weathers, hi Mr. Moo. The first thing you need to think about is safe shelter. Goats need a strong enclosed space to ride out the storm, okay? A flimsy structure with tarp walls or a loose roof is not going to cut it, you know, when these winds are hitting 70, 80, 100 miles an hour. Like Bambi over here on the fence. You want solid walls, a strong roof, and doors that latch securely from the outside. Avoid leaving open sides facing the direction storms usually come in from the area. Hopefully you guys know what direction that is, whether east, west, what direction your property wall lines are facing as far as north, south, east, west. Here in Florida, most hurricanes come from the southeast. So you want to make sure openings in that situation would be facing north and west, right? Ventilation is also important because goats can overheat even in bad weather, but ventilation should be high up under the eaves, okay? Not open at ground level where the wind-driven rain can blast in. And if your shelter is in a low area that could flood, do them a favor and move them to a higher ground before the storm hits. Hi, little baby. That's Pixie, guys. One of our newest ones, youngest ones. She's doing well. Once the wind starts to roar, though, it's too dangerous to move them. So, the next step is reinforcing your fencing, right? Hurricanes can bring down trees, large branches. You can see we have some gnarly, pretty huge trees here on this property. So, you can get hurt and cause injury. Oh, champion, I know, you're okay. You want to walk your fence line before every storm. Watch, or any warnings really. Check for loose posts, sagging wires, anything that can collapse under weight. You want to keep extra T-posts and a post driver handy. That's just Homestead 101. You can set up cattle panels inside your regular fencing as a backup if the outside layer goes down, because that interior barrier will buy you time. It's just kind of why we have a two to three fence system on everything here. Gates as well, because they get out. That's a whole nother animal topic. When the hurricane hits, the power can be out for days and weeks. Not sure if you guys have been through them. Let me know your experiences in the comments below if you have been through a hurricane and you own homestead animals, and what did you do? Did you tag your animals? Things like that. If you got a well pump, probably means no water. Hopefully you got a generator with fuel, or whether it's gas, propane. Roads can be blocked, making trips to the feed store impossible. So you want to have 7 to 10 days worth of feed and hay stored in a dry place, elevated place. We keep some of ours in our red barn right here. For water, fill all your troughs and add extra containers, buckets, and clean trash cans with tight-fitting lids. You can freeze gallon jugs of water in your chest freezer ahead of time, and once the power goes out, those frozen jugs can keep water cool and safe to drink. It's awesome. You can also use them as ice packs for animals, showing heat stress and the storm's aftermath. Storm prep isn't just about shelter and feed. You also need to think medically. Put together a goat first aid kit and a waterproof tote. You know, ours can have vet wrap, scissors, digital thermometer, electrolyte powder, crucial, dewormer, of course, any wound sprays and hoof trimmers. The basics I'm hoping you should already have anyway. If your goats are on any medications, make sure you got enough for at least 2 weeks. Keep all of it in one spot so you're not scrambling in the middle of an emergency. Can't stress this enough. Once the storm's here, you don't have time to dig through drawers looking for a hoof pick or a bottle of wound spray, especially if you have no power. It's pitch black, can't see. Sometimes the safest choice is to evacuate your goats before the storm arrives. This could be because your area is prone to flooding, your shelter isn't storm rated, or the forecast is calling for catastrophic winds. If you don't have your own trailer, make arrangements with a neighbor or a local livestock hauler now. Don't wait until the last minute. I hope you know how to please practice loading your goats ahead of time so it's not a new and stressful, "Hi, Liberty." I call this one Champion. That's all right, though. Know where you're going to take them. It can be fairgrounds. There's actually communities set up for that. County fairgrounds do that a lot of times. Have designated livestock shelters. Keep halters and leads hanging by the barn door so they're ready to go. Goats do not like storms any more than we do, and stress can make them sick. One way to help them stay calm is to keep herd members together. Don't separate the bonded goats unless absolutely necessary. Add familiar bedding. Fresh straw or shavings can make the space smell and feel more like home. And if your shelter's got windows, consider covering them up with plywood like you would a home to block flashing lights and debris. It can spook them. After the storm, keep the routines as normal as possible. Feed at the same time. You don't want to stress them out. That's what you're trying to prevent here. Talk to them like you normally would. When the storm passes, after the fact here, resist the urge to open the gates right away. You want to walk the entire pasture, look for down fences, nails, shards of glass, toxic plants that could have blown in. Hurricanes can scatter debris for miles. Goats are curious as well. So check each goat for cuts, limping, signs of dehydration, even if they look fine. Keep a close eye on them for several days. Stress can cause sudden illness, and injuries can show up later. That's our complete hurricane prep plan for goats. Secure shelter, reinforced fencing, a solid stockpile of feed and water, waterproof medical kit, evacuation plan, ways to keep your goats calm, careful post-storm inspection. If you cover all these steps, you'll sleep a lot better than the next time you get a hurricane. Here's your action step, though. Click the link in the description to download my free printable hurricane goat prep checklist. Keep it in your barn, tack room, and you'll never be caught unprepared. If you keep other animals, check out my hurricane prep videos for chickens and ducks. We're going to be moving right along with all of these. They're linked right here on screen. Hit that subscribe button for us and ring the bell so you don't miss my next homestead safety video.